We'll be using images 2 inches by 1.5 inches, and we'll be using white polymer clay. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate how to make a pretty simple and pretty foolproof way of making image transfers. So we're going to begin with a very thin slab. This is on the second to fattest setting on the pasta machine. If you don't have a pasta machine, just roll it out and make it about 1/16 of an inch. And then what I like to do is press it between nonstick paper and place it into the oven and bake it for about 5 minutes at about 250 degrees. Once I take it out of the oven, I place it down on a flat surface. Here's one that we'll be working with. I cover it up and then place it down on a flat table and put a weight on top of it. If you don't have a push mold, you can use a big dictionary and let it cool entirely. Now, while that's baking and cooling, I go to my computer and I collect some very small images. I reduce them with one of my programs. I put them side by side, so I have several of them, and I copy them out on t-shirt transfer paper. You can pick this up in Office Depot or Office Max. Now, it's important, I didn't do it here, but this is how I learned it. These two images, this one as well, have words on them. And if you don't flip the image before you print it out, by the time you iron on these images, the wording will come backwards. So before you print it out on your t-shirt transfer paper, it's important to flip the images so that they come out face forward. So to begin, you just cut out your images, the ones that you want to work with. And once the slab of clay is cool, you're going to take it to your iron and you're going to iron on one of the little transfers. And it's important to not iron back and forth. What I like to do is put the image down carefully, put the hot iron straight down onto it, hold it for about 10 seconds, then lift it up straight up, turn it, put it back down, another 10 seconds, pick it up, turn it, put it down another 10 seconds. And I put my iron on about, not the hottest setting, but between midway and the highest setting. Okay, so then once the image is cool, don't remove the image until it's completely cool. But once it's cool, you can just remove the image, the backing, and your image will transfer almost perfectly. If every now and again you might, on this one it came out perfect, but on other images, if you just get one or two little spots that didn't transfer 100%, you can fill those in with colored pencils. Now, here's another image that I did when I ironed earlier, and this is the one of Mae West. Removing it carefully, and as you can see, you might or might not be able to see, her name is now backwards because I didn't flip the image when I originally printed out the image. So this will show you that it's really important, especially if you have wording on your image, to flip the images before you print them out. Now, if you're a true beginner and you are not sure how to flip the image, just choose an image like on here that don't have any wording, and if the image flips and is sort of backwards, you won't even know the difference. And now we're going to learn how to incorporate the image into a frame. Now, if you have this frame, this push mold frame, or if you have another one that's on the market, you can make the frames pretty easily. But I'm going to demonstrate in case you don't have it. This one is actually, I've put the mold into the oven, and you can, again, baking it at about 250 degrees for about 5 minutes and then letting it cool. It'll be hard enough to sort of embed it into the clay. But for demonstration purposes right now, I'm just going to build a frame without the mold. So the first thing I like to do is, again, roll out a thin slab of clay through the pasta machine. This is the next to fattest setting. And cut a straight edge along the top, which I've done. And then twist up a hanging wire. And you're going to embed this into the clay. Now, you want to embed it in a way that your ultimate stringing material can string sideways through it. So if you position the wire incorrectly, the stringing will have to go front to back, and that's not how you wear a pendant. So you want to make sure that you position your wire so that your ultimate threading material can go sideways through the hole. Okay, and then I also cut here where about the end of the frame would be. Now I'm going to leave the end wire here straight because I'm not sure what I want to do at the bottom of the pendant. You can also leave both wires straight so that you can determine the design of this piece after you're finished making it. If you choose to have two straight edges of the wire poking through, make a little knot or something in the wire in the center here so that it catches in the clay and it just doesn't pull free. Okay, so we're going to begin with one of our images. We'll use this one here. Okay, we're going to use the tattooed cross. So I want to trim this down. This is just a razor blade that I've put some polymer clay on one end of it to sort of make a protective end. And I'm going to cut it down so that I have about 1/8 of an inch sort of hem or seam allowance around the sides and the top. And because it's very thin, it'll cut pretty easily. Then you're going to come and lay the frame down and press it gently into the clay backing. And you want to make sure that you leave enough area at the top here so that you can add the frame. And then just using little strips of clay, cut them pretty straight, going to just create this frame. Just going to build up the sides first. Let me do this top one again. So the first thing I did was to build up sort of a leveling frame. Just added brown clay around so that it's all level, this area. And next, using pretty much the same technique, I'm going to build it up, but go inside closer to the image so that I enclose that image, enclose the tile, so to speak, inside the clay. Okay, so now I've built it up and this is now enclosed. So I'm using a dental tool here, but you can use whatever smoothing tool you use and just smooth this on together so that you're erasing the connection lines here. And then in order to miter just a teeny bit, I'm just going to press inside here to give it the look of a miter. Okay. So now it's connected and the lines are erased. And then I'm going to cut out the image. Okay, now once it's cut out, you're going to neaten it up. So, because this is non-stick, I can get it off the back paper pretty easily. Okay. So you go around with your smoothing tool, and if you need to smooth out any lines on the side, you can do that. And then this one came out pretty square, but sometimes if it doesn't come out really square or it's off a little bit, you can just kind of take out that real squareness around the sides. Give it a softer look. And now it's ready to go into the oven and bake into a pendant.